And we're off. Hi there, Carrie. Carrie from
Hi.
Bright Wellbeing. Carrie Brightwell from Bright Wellbeing. See what we've done there. Glad to have you on the show. I thought it'd be a great chance for us. We've been working together so much in the Be Bold and business programs, right?
Yeah.
Your focus on health and well-being. Lots of expertise there. I think it's about time that we start sharing some of that stuff directly with some of our members and Love Your Business. So welcome here. And yeah, what are we going to be talking about today, Carrie?
Yay, thank you for having me. Today we are going to be talking about happiness and how happiness can bring a competitive advantage to you and to your business, because there is scientific research behind how bringing or elevating your levels of happiness actually helps you to become more productive, and it helps you to become more efficient, more effective at work. So we're going to be looking at that.
Okay, I'm very keen because that's what Love Your Business is all about.
Yeah.
Program. So obviously, we need to get stuck into this. But before we do that, Carrie, just give us a little bit of context on yourself and why you're sitting there with coconut palm trees behind you.
Yay. So I came out here to Koh Phangan, it's an island in the Gulf of Thailand. I came here in 2018 to study the science of yoga. So there's a theme, I like science. I studied the science of yoga. I did a yoga teacher training that lasted 3 months, and it was so good and so transformative that I came back in 2019 and I did it again, and then I got stuck. But it actually worked in my favor because I intended to stay here for a while. Because there's just so much that this island has to offer. And so now I live here in the island of Koh Phangan, and I operate my business from the island. So I work online and I support and I guide people's journeys towards wellness, towards happiness, and towards finding their purpose, as well as working with Dawa in Love Your Business and the Be Bold programs.
Yes, that's right. Awesome. And what's your eventual aim there, Carrie? Are you going to stay in Thailand?
No, I have a big grand dream of emigrating to New Zealand. So one day I will be with you guys.
Awesome. Okay. So now everybody's in the picture here. So let's get cracking on this science behind happiness and how to.
Yeah. So what I'm going to share with you today is actually some learnings that I have based on a book that I read by an author called Shaun Achor. And I read this book many years ago, and it was so profound that I actually created a full workshop out of it. And I would deliver this workshop when I used to work back in corporate. I was a learning and development professional, a trainer. And so I used to deliver this workshop countless times because it was so popular. And the reason why it's so popular is because it resonates with everyone and it really works. So I thought it would be really great to get this information over to you guys. So let me just share my screen. 1 second, everyone. There we go. So The Happiness Advantage by Shaun Achor, this is my interpretation of what he shares in his book. Now, he actually shares 7 key principles of how to increase your levels of happiness, how to apply those into your workplace, and the benefits that the workplace will gain or your business will gain as a result of applying those. Now, today, I'm only be covering 1 because we don't have time, too much overwhelm. We only need to do 1 thing at a time. So bear in mind, I am only covering 1 principle today. But first of all, let's have a look at why happiness is so important. So most people have this assumption that when you are successful, then you become happy. But actually, it works the other way around. When you are happy, you become successful, because happiness fuels performance and achievement. When we are happy, we're more switched on, we're more engaged, we're more motivated, energized, creative, innovative, and resilient. So it's these qualities that actually give us a heads up, a competitive advantage. Our brains are hardwired to perform better when we are happy. So if you increase your happiness levels, you increase these qualities, you increase your performance, you increase your competitive advantage. Do you see the link, Dara?
Totally. I can see the green zone all over this. So
absolutely. So this is why you and I get on so well, because we have so many correlations in our lives, right? I was talking about the green before I even met you. And all of this comes from research from positive psychology. So know that everything that I share with you today is totally backed up by science. So what exactly is happiness then? So Barbara Fredrickson is a leading researcher in happiness, and she found over 10 years of study that when we talk about happiness, what we're actually talking about is the elevation or the feeling of these emotions. These are the 10 most frequently reported emotions that someone is experiencing when they say they are happy, or when they are in happiness or having happiness: pride, interest, hope, amusement, inspiration, serenity, or gratitude, joy, and love. And happiness actually is subjective. So what makes me happy, Dawa, isn't necessarily going to make you happy. What you class as happiness isn't necessarily what I class as happiness. It's subjective, and that's okay. So it's going to be different for different people. What makes you happy, Dawa? Which one of these springs to mind?
The one, inspiration is the one that drives me, or that attracted me in this list. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's serenity and love. Yeah, when I am in a place of serenity and when I'm experiencing love, then I am happy. They're mine. Okay, so as I said, one principle out of 7, and the one principle that I'm going to share to you today that Shaun talks about is the happiness advantage. And my interpretation of this is that in order to elevate your levels of happiness, you need to deliberately inject happiness into your day. But first of all, let's have a look at why and how happiness actually gives your organization that competitive advantage. When we are experiencing happiness, i.e. one of those 10 emotions or more of those 10 emotions, or it might even be something different for you, that's okay. When we are experiencing those, we actually increase the amount of dopamine and serotonin that is flooded into the brain. And when we have these chemicals floating around our brain, this helps us to organize new information. It helps us to hold it for longer and retrieve it faster. When we've got serotonin and dopamine flooding our brains, we actually are able to create more neural pathways in our brains. And these pathways then are able to open more. And once these neural pathways are open more, we can think quicker, we're more creative, we become more skilled at complex analysis, and we're better at problem solving. So it's a chemical reaction that these emotions create that actually enable us to perform at a higher rate or a higher level or a better level. I say higher, but better, you know? Mm-hmm. So our brains are actually hardwired to perform better when we are happy.
Wow. But we knew all that, didn't we, Kerry? But we didn't really know it, right?
But I mean, people know it, right? Intrinsically, they know it. But what I love is to have the scientific backing behind it, knowing why it works. So when someone says, oh, I haven't got time for that nancy-pansy happiness stuff or that workplace wellness, I haven't got time for yoga, or I haven't got time for this, there's a scientific reason as to why we want to build this into our day, why we want to make a conscious effort to be happier, to make our employees happier if you have them. There's a reason. Okay. Yep. So in this first principle that Shaun talks about, he actually covers off 3 things of how to deliberately inject happiness. Now, I'm actually going to focus mostly on the last one that says number 1, but it actually should be number 3. Typo. So you're going to be happy, laugh about your mistakes. But let me very quickly tell you about the top 2, because I don't want to skip over these. So deliberately injecting happiness. First of all, we need to prime ourselves for happiness. Now, what on earth does this mean? When we need to know what it is that makes us happy, and then bring that into our being, bring that into our environment, give that to ourselves. When we are happy, when we have these short bursts of happiness, we are able to reduce stress and anxiety, and we're able to increase creativity and innovation. So find out what it is that makes you happy and have more of it throughout your day. It might be a cuddle with your dog. It might be a quick walk around the garden, a smell of the roses. It might be having a quick chat with your mom or your friend on the phone. Whatever makes you happy, bring more of it in. There was a study that was done with a group of doctors, actually to do with chocolate bars. They gave one group of doctors a chocolate bar, and they did not give the other group of doctors chocolate bars. The group of doctors, not that I'm encouraging eating chocolate, of course, because I am a healthy and well-being coach, but the group of doctors that actually received the chocolate bar, they performed better. 19% of them were able to better diagnose conditions, and they were able to do it 60% faster than the counterparts that were not given the chocolate bar. The best thing was they weren't even allowed to eat the chocolate bar. They were just given the chocolate bar. So find out what it is that makes you happy and prime yourself for that happiness. Bring it in. The next one is to increase positive interactions. Again, there was a lady, one of the leading people in the study of happiness, Marcia Losada. She found that for every for every one negative interaction you have with someone, maybe whether that be an employee or someone that you're trying to work with, you need to have another 3 positive interactions in order for that person to give positive performance. If it's any less than 3, then they are negatively or underperforming. And the optimum performance, for every 1 negative interaction, you need to have 6 positive ones. So we need to consistently and consciously bring in enthusiasm and recognition and thanks and praise to the people that we are interacting with in our working day. And this works in life. This isn't just work, right? This is in life. This is with your partners. This is with your children. This is with your friends. It's people in the shopping mall. It's everybody. So 6 to 1 if you want the best out of people.
6 to 1, massive ratio.
Yeah, it is, but it's so easy to do. It's a thank you. It's an emoji. It's sending a gift. It's formally recognizing people in front of others. There are so many ways that you can create these positive interactions. It doesn't all have to be big and grand. Just a thank you is enough, or a smile. Mm-hmm. Think about how you can have that positive interaction. Oh, where's my little thing? There we go. So I want to go back to the point number 1 or number 3, which was how to increase your day-to-day happiness. So again, scientifically proven that if you do these 7 things, and you don't have to do all 7 every day, but at least do 1 every day, what you're going to be able to do is increase your day-to-day happiness. And over time, as you continue to practice these things, your overall level of happiness increases. Yes, from a day-to-day basis, we oscillate, don't we? We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. But if you're practicing regularly, over time, those bars of the ups and downs will increase. So these 7 things then, first of all, meditate. This, don't get scared, don't get put off. This can be as simple as 5 minutes a day. No, you don't have to do mudras. It's not necessary. None of this, it's not necessary. You can literally just follow your breath for 5 minutes a day. Why do you want to do this? When we meditate, when we come out of meditation, we are more content, we're more calm, we have more empathy, we have heightened senses of awareness. So meditation actually rewires our brains for happiness, as little as 5 minutes a day. Find something to look forward to, because the excitement is in the anticipation. Whether it be something that you're going to do after work, maybe it's some plans at the weekend with friends, maybe it's, I was going to say a holiday, maybe not appropriate. Maybe you're going to book a concert or a festival for a few months' time. Whatever it is, get something in the calendar that you are looking forward to do, because the excitement, the happiness comes from the anticipation. Number 3, commit conscious acts of kindness. So it's not enough to do something kind for someone and then say, oh, I've done it, so tick, I did that one today. No, we have to go out with the intention of doing something kind for somebody. That's what generates those happiness feelings, those emotions. So you might want to set yourself a little challenge. Like maybe there's 1 day a week where you go out with that intention to do 1, 2, 3 conscious acts of kindness. Number 4 is infuse positivity into your surroundings. Well, what is positivity for you? For me, I work outside because I want to be with the trees. I want to be with the birds, and I live in an environment where I can. Maybe you don't, but you can bring some of the outside in, bring some plants, put them on your desk around the room. Maybe you want to have a photo of a loved one. If you do work in an office, maybe you want to move desk because you don't like the person you sat next to. Whatever it is, bring that positivity into your surroundings so that you look at what you like, you hear what you like, you smell what you like, you sense what you like. Number 5, exercise. Everyone's going, oh, I know, I should do more of this, right? But why? Thoughts, Dara?
I'm one of those that thinks I should do more of it. I do a bit of horse riding,
Yeah.
a little bit of walking. But,
Yeah.
Tell us all about why we should be doing this.
So again, exercise helps us to reduce stress and reduce anxiety. There was a study done where they asked people to do 45 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. Now, these people all suffered from depression. There were 3 control groups, actually. So the first control group, the people who were suffering from depression, they just took medication, right, to alleviate the depression. The second group, they took medication and they were told to do the 3 lots of exercise, 45 minutes, 3 times a week. Then the third group were just told to do the exercise, no medication. Now, all 3 groups actually were able to remove the depression, to alleviate the symptoms of depression. What was really shocking was the relapse rate. Those people that were just on medication, 38% of them relapsed into depression. The people that were doing exercise and medication, 31% of those relapsed into depression. The group that were just doing exercise, 9% of those relapsed into depression. So exercise is so vital and important to our well-being in terms of that, but also, as I said, removing that stress, removing that anxiety, and elevating the serotonin, the dopamine, to raise our happiness levels. So just 45 minutes, 3 times a week, spot on, lovely. The next one, spend your money on doing things rather than having. It's the experiences in life that are going to generate the memories, to generate the emotions, generate those experiences that we are going to be able to hold in our DNA, in our cellular memories forever. Having things don't deliver that same level of intensity in terms of emotion, and it doesn't last as long. So spend your money on doing things rather than having. And the final one is do a signature strength. In other words, find out what you're good at and do it as often as you can. Maybe you're good at helping people. Maybe you're good at speaking in front of people. Maybe you are good at singing. Maybe whatever it is, find out what you're good at and do more of it because it's going to make you happy. I will pause. Dara, anything from you so far?
I'm very curious about this signature strength and how you could figure that out. I suppose having a sit down and think about it will be one start, would it?
You can have a sit down and think about it. I mean, there's so many ways to find out what you're good at. I mean, this is what I work on in helping people find their purpose. But a simple way, oh, what a segue, Dale, well done, is you can take the VIA survey. There's some surveys you can do. And there's going to be multitude of surveys online if you're interested in finding out what your signature strengths are. And they ask you a series of questions and you just answer authentically, honestly, and quickly. Don't over deliberate. Don't think about it too much. And then you're going to be able to get down to exactly what it is that you're good at. What do you think you're good at?
Good at working with groups. I like, I'm a pretty good singer, I discovered. So something I would like to think more of. What about you?
Taking the complex and making it very simple for people. So I'm an excellent communicator, which is why I was a trainer, why I was working in learning development, and I'm excellent at speaking in front of groups of people. I'm facilitating group transformation, transition. So public speaking, coaching, all of that stuff. And I was really lucky to find this out early on. Not everyone is so lucky, you know. But it's there in everyone. Everyone has strengths. We think, oh, I'm not good at anything. You totally are. You really are. And so the only difference between you and someone else is that you don't know what that is yet, but you can find it out.
So then we're going to do another test called the happiness.
Yeah, you can actually. Yeah, you can figure out how happy you are by taking the happiness test. I mean, maybe you want to know, maybe you don't. But really, it's about how you feel. Do you need to put a number on that? Or you could simply do that, you know, put a number on it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how happy do you feel generally in life? And if it's low, are you going to tolerate that? Are you willing to live life not happy? And if the answer to that is no, then start applying some of these simple principles. And over time, your happiness will improve. And then over time, you'll be able to start being rewarded with all of these different things, like becoming more motivated, becoming more creative, more innovative, more resilient. It happens. The thing that got me when you asked me to speak in the spotlight, and I decided to do this topic, is I was reading through my notes, because I said I used to facilitate this all the time. And I was reading back through my notes, and I was like, oh my God, the correlations between what I used to teach in the workshops and your Be Bold in Business program. Like, okay, I've got to get it in there. So if you're interested in elevating your levels of happiness, then contact Dawa and ask more about the Be Bold in Business program. Because we've been interviewing people who have gone through the program, and the number one thing that they have reported that has improved the most for them as a result of being part of this program is their level of happiness. Everyone. Number one.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's good, and that's generally only after 4 or 5 weeks in the program. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But just blown away by the impact that it has on everyone's levels of happiness. Mm-hmm. So be in contact. Look at the Facebook page, look at the YouTube channel, the testimonials, and see what you think. You can also contact me if you're interested in working on a one-to-one level in terms of increasing your levels of happiness. Then obviously I do one-to-one coaching, group, business stuff. Contact Dawa. If you're interested in learning more meditations, doing more meditations, then you can check out my YouTube page. I've got some meditations there, and there is thousands of meditations available to you on YouTube. It doesn't matter which one you do. Just find one that you like, find one that resonates. And then also, this is principle number 1 that I've been talking to you about today. There is so much more of this. As I said, Shaun shares 7, that's a tongue twister. Shaun shares 7 principles. And over time, we're going to do more Spotlight series where I'm going to be sharing more about how you can increase your happiness levels, what you can apply in your life and work to get those benefits. So watch out for the Spotlight series.
Wow. Excellent. And thank you for your time there, Kerry, and thanks for the input here.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Loving the idea that we have some science behind it. And I think it's probably the ACA principle of awareness, then choosing deliberately, so that you're raising some awareness, doing some of these tests, figuring out where you are, make a plan for how you, gonna change some of these things up, right?
Yeah.
Need to be deliberately done. So that's really cool. So thank you for that, and we look forward to another one sometime soon.
Yay! Thank you very much, Dale. I'll speak to you all very soon.
Awesome.